Hey, first want to just say thank you for considering Central Oregon Crew as one of the recipients of a grant or a donation. We really believe that we are a partnership organization partnering with others to reach students for Christ, that our staff get to be the hands and feet, the ones talking to students and telling them about Jesus and asking good questions. But we feel like it's really a team effort, that we could not do what we do without so many friends and supporters that really care for the students in Oregon and around the Northwest and around the world. So thanks for considering being a part of what we're doing. So one of our greatest needs this year is to develop a scholarship fund. This last year, as our ministry grew here in Bend and in Central Oregon, we had the opportunity to send students to an in-person conference for the first time since COVID. And we call it the Crew Winter Conference. And it's been around for years and years, decades, and it's one of the key conferences that we host every year to send students to. But of course, we've had a few years of not going to conference due to COVID. Well, this last year, we thought, let's pray for 5 students to go to this conference. It's in Los Angeles this year. There's 5 or 6 of them around the country, but Los Angeles was the closest one. And so we prayed for 5 students in faith that they would go to this conference with us and catch the vision for what Crew is doing, what God's doing through Crew globally and locally. And so one of the things we did is we offered free airfare. There's a cheap flight going from Bend to LA. It wasn't the right time exactly to get there on time, but we thought it was cheap enough, let's make it work. So we offered to pay for this flight to any student that would register. Well, sure enough, 16 students registered, and all of a sudden we had a problem on our hands in that we had not raised money for a scholarship fund to get students to this conference. So God provided, we talked to friends and family, and we got those students sent off to the conference. Well, this next year, we'd like to consider having a fund to send even up to 20 students to go to this conference and paying for a flight that would actually get them there on time. And so this will cost some extra money. We typically raise about a $10,000 budget each year for our ministry expenses, but it doesn't include a scholarship fund. So this year, we'd like to raise a $10,000 scholarship fund to send 20 students to conference, and then also to be able to support some of the students that want to go on summer mission or spring mission. Those students raise their own support, but we want to be a part of sending them, so we'd love to have a fund available for that also. So we're asking you to consider an $8,000 scholarship fund to Winter Conference in LA, Martin Luther King Jr. weekend in January of 2024. And then a $2,000 fund to send students around the world and around the country on summer and spring missions next year. Both these things are so strategic on helping students just get a vision for what God's doing around the world and developing them in their heart for people and for Him. We want them to love the Lord, to love their team, and love the people around them is our hope. So if you would consider that special project we have this year, that would be a huge help to our ministry, and really the whole effort is that God would be glorified as students multiply their faith. So again, thanks for considering our needs. We really appreciate you reaching out to us. That was a great surprise, and we would love to partner as much as possible. Thanks again.